right, you guys. Class.
Yes.
All right, all you shiny happy people that are here, greatly appreciate it. And if you're not here, boo. All right, solving right triangles given two sides. Now, if you have a right triangle, it's a right triangle, right?
Yes.
And you know two of the sides, what can you always use to find the third?
Pythagorean theorem.
Pythagorean theorem. We're going to use Pythagorean theorem to try and find the third side.
Okay, so you have
Okay, so look carefully what we have. We have little a, little c, right? So I'm going to plug in, and it's going to be the regular Pythagorean theorem. Okay, regular Pythagorean theorem, which is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Now, I hate doing algebra with a whole bunch of big numbers because I always screw things up. What are we trying to get by itself here? What are we trying to solve for?
B.
B, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the algebra before I plug in anything. Okay? What am I going to, if I'm trying to get the B by itself, what do I do to this a squared?
Okay, you can
I subtract it to both sides, right?
yes.
Okay, so I'm going to do some algebra before I do anything else. So now I have b squared is equal to c squared minus a squared. But we're trying to look for b. Remember when we do this, this is always going to give me a positive or a negative, right?
Yes.
Okay, because to undo a square, I take the square root. So it's going to be a positive or negative. But this is the length of a triangle. It is a distance. It is a measurement.
It's positive.
It's got to be positive, right? So this is going to be positive. So now, watch this. So now I'm going to take square root both sides. So b would equal to the positive square root of c squared minus a squared. So whenever you're doing this, you by doing the algebra first, it's going to make life a lot easier because we're plugging this in the calculator, right? So we could just say, instead of actually doing everything and all the steps and all that, we could just go straight to here, right? So that b is equal to the square root of c squared minus a squared. And can I manipulate this to find the other values also? What if I was looking for the a? What would it look like if I was looking for the a?
You would minus, you
B.
minus B with
Okay, so it would be the same steps though, right? So what would the formula for that one be?
A squared equals square root of B squared minus C squared?
No, it wouldn't it, so it's the same steps that we did right here, right? The same steps, but instead of subtracting a squared, I'd be subtracting b squared, right? I'd be subtracting b squared this time, so what would be by itself over here on the left? A. And so would be equal to the square root of, look at the steps that I did right here.
B squared minus C squared minus B squared.
Very good, c squared minus b squared. Because I'm subtracting b squared from both sides, right? Okay, and what if I was looking for c?
It would be C equals A squared minus B squared, or B squared minus C squared.
Okay, it would just be the regular formula.
Regular formula, because isn't c already by itself? So I would just square root both sides and know it's got to be positive because it's a distance. So c is equal to the square root of a squared plus b squared. All right, so let's go ahead and solve for b by plugging in this calculator. And so hopefully you guys find this helpful because it's going to save you a lot of time and headaches whenever you're doing all the math manipulation. So it is c squared 53.58.
Yeah, let's get crazy.
So let me see. We said square root 53.58 squared minus 29.43. 29.43 squared. Right? Okay.
Yep.
Enter. And then how many decimals should I use here?
2 of them.
Why? Why do you say 2?
Because it's the same thing as those ones.
Because it's the same as the other ones, right?
Yeah.
So whenever it doesn't say, use the same approximation as what they have there. So we're gonna say 44 point what? 77? Very good. 44.77. Let's go ahead and go back to here.
Oh.
Now I gotta try and find for my angles. I'm gonna start with this one right here. Let's see if you guys remember this. So if I'm looking for an angle, I need to do, I heard it, inverse. If I'm looking for the angle, I need to do the, if I'm looking for the angle, I need to do the, see, I got scared there because you guys aren't saying it enough that I should be able to say if you're looking for an angle, you do the, you should automatically jump to, hey, I'm gonna do an inverse. Now, since I know, I always want to go with the ones that I know first. Okay, am I going to use the 44.77 in my formula to find it? No, I don't want to. Because if I made a mistake right there, then guess what? My next one's also going to be wrong. So, if A is my reference angle, what sides are being given to me? What side is this? Okay, so this side over here would be the opposite, right? Okay, so opposite, so little a is the opposite there, right? And then, what about C?
That's hypotenuse.
Hypotenuse. Okay, and of the phrase that pays, that would be what?
Some old hippie.
That would be some old hippie, right? So some old hippie. So that's going to be my sign. So I'm going to write it out before I do the inverse. So I'm going to say sine of whatever my angle A is equal to opposite 29.43 over 53.58. So now my unknown value is that A, right? The unknown value is the A. So if I'm looking for the angle, I need to do the inverse. So now, when I do inverse, I switch my variable A with what I have on the right-hand side. So I'm going to flip these two. So now it's going to be A is equal to inverse sine of all this. 29.43 over 53.58. And I know y'all are putting in your handy-dandy calculator because that's what good students do. Good students put in the calculator so the teacher doesn't have to. Because y'all need to practice where to put these in, right? I know. Good job. Okay. Because I know everyone. So you got to make sure you use the correct one. Remember, when you hit the trig button, you're going to have to use the inverse one. All right, so angle A is going to be a boot. What do we get? I heard? 3 point. Okay. There we go. Is that pretty easy? Anyone not get that? Anyone not? Anyone need help? All right. So now we got to try and figure out what angle B is. So there's two ways to figure out angle B. I could use angle B as a reference angle. Too close. I could use angle B as a reference angle and do that again. Or what else could I do? I could, right? And that would be as B as a reference angle, right? I know angle A and B together have to add up to what? 90. A and B are 90, right? Because this is a right triangle. So all three add up to 180, but I take 180 and I subtract the 90 that I know, and so that means that these two right here are always going to add up to only 90. Okay? These two angles are already complementary to each other. So I could subtract this from 90. So I could do that. So to get my other one, so angle B is going to be 90 minus 33.31 degrees, which is going to give me about what did we get? Like 56.69. Feel good about it? Pretty solid? Okay. Alright, I'm going to keep going. Okay, angles of elevation and angles of depression. Now, this one, I always got stories to go along with this. Blah, draw the sketch. Do it, draw it. Okay, this one already has a sketch. Okay, these normally come with word problems. They normally come with word problems, and in these word problems, I need to actually have a visual to be able to get these things. So when you see something that says angle of depression or angle of elevation, I know where it has to go. So, got a story. Got Diego. Okay, Diego's up on the roof. He's mad at Denny. Denny's down there, sitting there chilling in his lawn chair. Okay, I don't know, somewhere down on the ground, you know, kicking back in the grass, right? Chilling with his you know, pina colada or whatever it is. I don't know. What do you drink, Denny? Keep it PG. Water. He's got some Fiji water. Okay, it's the good stuff, right? The expensive water. Okay, so, but Diego is mad because Denny does better than him at every single class. He's mad.
I think it's true.
Okay, so now he's mad. So I got
Dude, am I jumping off the side of a building?
no. You're throwing something,
Oh.
or you might be, you know, jump it off too.
Okay. Oh, am I dropping something on Denny's head?
You're trying to.
Can you make it a brick?
So he's sitting there in his lounge chair, just chilling, right? Under the tree, right? Okay. So Diego's mad at him. So he's going to try and throw something at Denny.
A brick.
Okay.
The hammer.
So
A tomahawk.
don't you need to? So he's looking directly at him. So this is referred to as line of sight.
Left dead.
And horizon. is always parallel with the ground. Now, how do you think Diego's feeling here?
Angry.
Okay, give me another word.
Irritated.
Okay, another one.
Aggravated.
Besides that,
Annoyed.
huh? Mean, yeah, that too, but
Hate it.
okay, less hate.
Devious.
Less hate.
What?
You guys gotta work on adjectives. How about depressed?
Diabolical.
Depressed.
Oh.
Diego is depressed. And so because he's up here looking down, he's looking down on Denny, this is my angle.
Of depression.
Yep. That's the angle of depression. It's from the top down. Okay? Because the horizon and the ground are going to be parallel, right here, let me throw in this color. So, right here, Denny be like, dude, I see him there. I need to go save my friend. So, he needs to go into the building and he's got to take the what? Close. How about the elevator? He's got to go save his friend, right? Because he's so depressed because Denny is going to be like Superman. He's going to go up there and he's going to save his friend from his angle of depression. Because so he needs to go get on the elevator to go up to save him. So this is his angle of elevation. Because he doesn't want his homie over there to be sad, to be depressed. So, if you notice right here, again, ground and horizon or parallel. If you guys remember back in geometry, parallel lines right here, this is a transversal. These are alternate interior angles. Angle of depression is going to be congruent to angle of elevation. These two angles are going to be the same. They are the same value. So if I were to look at it in the form of, hey, I got a triangle here. I want you to look at my triangle. So from here, I have a right triangle, don't I? I have a right triangle there. And so if I'm given the angle of depression and that doesn't enclose a triangle, can I use it over here? Yeah, in my enclosed triangle over here, right? To make life a whole lot easier. Now, ain't no one in here depressed because everyone's in here amazing, right? So, this is my diagram to explain angle of elevation and angle of depression. Because I hate the way they try to explain it, and it never really works. So, this usually works out the best. Now, right here. So, Pat Perdery knows he stands 123 feet from the base of flagpole.
It's not even that hard.
There you go. 123 feet. Okay, and the base of the flagpole, the angle of elevation to the top of the flagpole. So angle of elevation is bottom up, right? To the top of the flagpole is going to be 26 degrees 40 minutes. If her eyes are 5.3 feet above the ground, find the height of the flagpole. Now, if you notice this triangle right here that I have, is this triangle on the ground? No, it's off the ground, isn't it? It's off the ground. So what am I going to do to actually find the total height of my flagpole? A plus what? 5.3, right? Yeah, the height right here at eye level. So I'm going to add those together. So first thing I got to do is find A. So if 2640 is my reference angle, okay, let's see. Little a would be what side?
How opposite?
That one's opposite, very good. So that one's opposite. And over here, the 123 is adjacent, right? Very good, adjacent. So I have opposite and adjacent. So the phrase that pays, which one is this? Is this caught another hippie? There's a hippie there? Where's the hippie?
It's tripping on acid.
It is tripping on acid, right?
So
Okay.
it's candy.
So let's see again. So some old hippie caught another hippie tripping on acid, right?
Yes.
So tripping is opposite and adjacent, right? There we go. So that's what I needed from my phrase. So opposite adjacent, so I know it's tripping. So let's go tangent of my reference angle, 26 degrees, 40 minutes is equal to opposite over adjacent. So it's going to be little a over 123. Now from here, I gotta get my little a, gotta get my variable by itself. So what am I gonna do to both sides?
Divide.
Not divide, because it's on the bottom right here, right? I'm gonna multiply, because this step right here, I'm always gonna multiply to clear out my fraction. Even if my variable's on the bottom, always multiply to clear out the fraction. So, I'm gonna multiply both sides by 123. So I get 123 times the tangent of 26 degrees, 40 minutes is equal to, these 123 will cancel, so I'm left with little a. And so once I get that by itself, then what?
Calculator.
Put it in the handy dandy calculator.
This calculator. Oh, no, that's not.
All right, do we plug it in? What do we get? 61 point what? 77? Did you plug it in? 61.77. Okay. So let's see. Let's round it to whole numbers here.
62.
Okay. So 61.77. That 7 is going to make that 1 go up, right? Okay. So that's 62. So little a is going to be about 62, right? Actually, no. What's my precision right here? I got 2 decimals, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it is 61.77. I'm sorry, I messed up. So 61.77. And now I'm going to add 5.30, which is going to give me a grand total of
67.07. Right? Yeah, right?
and what are my units?
feet.
Very good. You guys feel pretty good about this? I know it's a lot. You know, you gotta just keep on it. Plug it into the calculator, just keep going, chugging along. Some of these are longer than others, so the ones that we did on Friday were longer than the others. So this is another one here that has angle of depression. So I'm gonna set up this one, but I'm not gonna solve it because I want you guys to have time to work on this. So if you look out here from the top of the cliff, okay, we got Diego up there, and we have Denny over here in the lighthouse. So it is 210 feet up my cliff, right? My, David Observed Lighthouse, that is 430 feet offshore. That is this way. find the angle of depression. So what did I say about the angle of depression? It's the same as angle of elevation. So this is angle of depression. So angle of elevation is going to be the same value. It's going to be the same value because they are congruent. So now I have a triangle there, don't I?
Yes.
And so I'm looking for this as a reference angle here.
And you have the adjacent and the opposite.
I have the adjacent, which is here, and this one over here is
Opposite.
opposite. Oh,
And that's tripping on acid. So
yes,
that's-
it is. That one is tripping on acid, right?
that's tangent.
So yes, that one's going to be a tangent of theta because I'm looking for the angle, right? I'm looking for the angle is equal to opposite over adjacent. And whenever I'm looking for the angle, I have to do the
The inverse.
inverse. So I'm using theta as my angle here. So theta equals, I could have used B also, inverse tangent of 210, 430. All right, so you could do that, finish that if you want. I just wanted to set it up so you guys could see. We're gonna find angles out of this. You're gonna find sides out of this, all this good stuff. So make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification button and support my channel. Buy stuff from my merch store. Okay, so